After 106 days in lockdown, 107 now, New South Wales is at last open again for business. Joining me now is the New South Wales Police Commissioner, Mick Fuller. Commissioner, good to see you. Thanks for your time this morning. It's been a long time coming, hasn't it?
It certainly feels like it. I haven't met anyone in New South Wales, Peter, that hasn't been looking forward to this day.
So what is the direction for Police, Commissioner, when it comes to patrols? Are there resources that are being deployed to certain areas? What's the remit today?
The remit is to support local businesses in the challenges that they will face, and we're certainly hoping that people will treat each other kindly. I think the New South Wales Premier summed that up pretty well. But, at the same time, the health orders have been an evolution over 20 months and we understand that the opening will cause some confusion. But what is clear is that the easing of the restrictions are for people who have had 2 vaccinations, and there will be an expectation that business and both police will be checking those people who go into premises to make sure they're vaccinated. And there is a $1,000 fine for individuals who think that they can still break the health orders.
Right, so that's going to be part of the program today, is that there will be patrols through shopping centres, through businesses, cafes, restaurants, all of that, just to check that everybody is obeying, as well as any potential trouble from anti-vaxxers.
Yeah, look, the main one for us is that big business, particularly the clubs, pubs, big restaurants and big shopping centres, that they have sophisticated security and they have been turning people away pre-COVID for dress reels or intoxication or other reasons. But there's lots of small businesses that wouldn't have the same ability to put security on perhaps. So we want to be out there. So if there is an issue with a particular customer, that we can respond quickly to assist those business owners. And if those individuals don't have proof of double vaccination, they'll get a $1,000 fine. So, but we won't be certainly stopping people mid-haircut or mid-hamburger and asking them to see the vaccination. But there is an onus on businesses to reasonably check. And we would ask, again, people are kind to each other as we come out of what's been a challenging 20 months. But nevertheless, police will be patrolling in there to assist, particularly the business community this morning as we open up.
So you are expecting abuse to come from some sections of the community?
Look, I think there's always a small percentage of people that use these times to think that they can breach the laws. And I think what's important is that, look, police have been diverted over the last 20 months and we've spent a lot of time helping health through the pandemic. But as we get back into summer, and we saw on Saturday night lots of young people out drinking and behaviour that won't be tolerated coming into summer. So I think what's important is that police get back to their core business and protecting the people of New South Wales, not just from the pandemic, but from the challenges that life will bring as we come out of lockdown, Peter. And even road safety as an issue is that even this morning on the roads, the traffic was almost back to pre-pandemic levels coming into town. So, we need to be out there protecting people on the roads and on our streets, but with a particular focus this week in helping businesses deal with the unvaccinated who try and get into premises.
So what should someone do, Commissioner, particularly if it's a younger staff member who's perhaps being intimidated by someone who hasn't had a vaccination? Do they just call you up?
Absolutely. Look, and we would hope that businesses have a plan in place, that most had a biosecurity plan to stay open, and I certainly hope that the business owners have spoken to staff about how to deal with these type of people. We are certainly hoping that people treat each other well this week, but I will ensure that police are out there ready to respond if a staff member of any age is getting abused by someone who doesn't want to show their vaccine passport.
How are you going to police crowds in homes? It's not allowed to be more than 10, of course, and fully vaccinated, that is. So how are you going to police that? How are you going to police weddings and funerals that are capped at 100 as well?
We won't be patrolling and walking through weddings or funerals, but we generally rely on the public calling us and saying, look, down the road from my house there's 50 or 100 people at a party, and we would naturally respond to that, Peter. So there's still a partnership with the community in relation to those type of breaches. But I think particularly with businesses, such as funerals and weddings, that the owners of those businesses need to take responsibility and make sure that they have security in place to ensure that that doesn't happen. Now, in terms of homes, again, if someone had 50 or 100 people in their home, someone would certainly pick up the phone and call us and we would respond.
And to control regional travel, until we hit that 80% vaccination rate, do you have higher patrols on the roads?
Yeah, absolutely. They have automatic number plate recognition, which read 8 number plates a second, and we have loaded the greater metro number plates into that. So if you're in regional New South Wales, you pass a highway patrol officer in the bush, then you'll be pulled over, and obviously if you're not supposed to be there, then you'll receive a fine. And look, we are still enforcing the health orders, Peter. We wrote some 300 tickets on Saturday. I envisage that will drop off as we hit 80 and 90%. And eventually we see the end of the health orders. But we still have, around 500 people a day testing positive, so we still need to protect the people of New South Wales who have done the right thing. We need to protect our hospital system.
Were you disappointed by those pictures on the weekend, Commissioner, people gathering and partying in Manly and Bondi too, sort of getting ahead of it?
Yeah, slightly. At the same time, sympathetic. I think it's been a long 20 months and we only wrote a handful of tickets where probably 2 or 3 weeks ago we would have written hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. So, but in saying that, if people think that we're going to tolerate bad behaviour leading into summer, particularly young people and intoxication, then they will get a reality check next weekend.
All right, Commissioner Mick Fuller, appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Peter.